didn't try to kill the guy. I didn't want to. I mean, I think the opening act was getting like $100 a show, so it wasn't like the. But I didn't want to kill the guy, and he didn't take any money from the kid, but he just wanted to give me a little extra money for doing the time, and but it's just really weird to watch. This is what I said to somebody else. We didn't realize how aggressive and tough the audiences were in Philadelphia because we grew up there. So when you would go other places, it was 55 million times easier. Every place else I went, every place,
As
because
long
in
as they didn't
Philly,
know you were from Philly.
yeah, no, no, because the Philadelphia audiences, you got about 10, 15 seconds to get to the jokes and be funny. Other places they'll give you a couple minutes.
Hmm.
So, you know,
Yeah.
so I was, I'd walk up on stage, blah, 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 I'm right in there, and they're like, oh, I guess we can laugh now.
You 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 know you said that like Philly's like a bad thing, but I got to be
No, I love
honest
it.
with you, dude. I I could never leave this city. I could never leave the city. If my God forbid I was my one goal. I set goals every year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year's obviously I could not achieve because of the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
but I set goals for myself. My one goal is to get on like a TV series, to be
Mm-hmm.
like one of them old crusty detectives, or you know,
Mm-hmm.
one of them guys, something like that, or just a weekly TV series. And I could not leave Philadelphia. I would take the train up to New York if I had to do that and film up
Mm-hmm.
in New York. And I would stay in hotels until I was done filming and then come back home. I would never, ever, ever leave this city. I was born here. I will die here. Philadelphia is, I got the grease from the cheesesteaks running through my veins. It's just, I am Philadelphia. And I am
Same
proud.
here, my friend. Same here.
I am proud of this city. Yeah, I always joke with like guys from out of town and stuff like that. We go, oh, freedom, yeah. Yeah, you can thank us for that. And thank
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Thank
First
Philadelphia
capital
for that.
schmucks.
And then I always get the guys up in Boston,
Mm-hmm.
the guy, oh, well, it started up here. We had the tea party. You had a tea party, dude. We had a revolution.
Mm-hmm.
You started a little tea party, man, got the ball a little rolling, but everything important happened here. All the
Mm-hmm.
brains congregated here. I could walk downtown and walk into a place where the Constitution was written. Everything was done in Philadelphia. We are,
Mm-hmm.
without a doubt, the greatest city on our planet. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
what anybody says. I know the crime rate's high. I know there's a lot of poor people. I know our education system ain't that great and everything. But without a doubt, in my opinion, and it's strictly my opinion, and a lot of your viewers, a lot of your listeners are going to poo-poo me. Philadelphia is the greatest city in the world. It's the greatest city. I don't care
Well,
what anybody says.
they better not poo poo, because the host of this show is also from Philadelphia.
Yes, you are. Now,
and, and
what part of Philadelphia did you grow up in?
West Philadelphia.
What part of West? Southwest or West?
West.
Okay, see, because when I was with the Teamsters, I had a job like UPS.
Mm-hmm.
I made about 120 deliveries a day. And my route was I would start in Bala Cynwyd, go all the way up to St. David's, come back down, cross over Lancaster Avenue,
Mm-hmm.
and do from Parkside down the Market, from Lancaster down the 48th.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you know my square right there.
Yes, I do.
And I'll tell you what, I could not wait to get into West Philly
Mm-hmm.
because the whole day I was putting up with mainliners who would look at you with their glasses down their nose and they look over the frames at you. You would say,
Mm-hmm.
Could you sign here for your payroll? My signature? No. Why don't you put Minnie Mouse down? And then when your company calls to find out who got the payroll, they could read Minnie Mouse signed for it. Of course, your name. I would get looked down upon by the mainliners. And then when I went into West Philly, it was like, these people are real. These are real people. Now, I always knew that as a kid growing up. Yeah, I grew up in the 60s, and I saw, I heard your conversation a couple podcasts ago with the gentleman, the comic from L.A., the martial arts guy. And he was,
oh, yeah, Keith. Yeah, good dude.
Yeah, great interview by you, by the way.
Oh, thank you, sir.
And he sounded like a really cool dude.
That's a good dude. That's a good dude.
Yeah,
by the way, I'm sure he's listening. You're a good dude, Keith. Okay, good.
Yes.
He's a good dude.
Yes, I will give him the thumbs up. But I was surprised that he was not aware of the strife that African Americans have gone through in our, not since the 60s, since they brought people over. It's like, I've been, I don't know if the word, I don't know what every damn day there's a new word, awoke, whatever. I don't know what the term is for saying, but when I was a little kid, I was a TV junkie. My mother would work, no father in the house. That's pretty much with the TV. I had a sister 4 years older than me, so I'd watch TV all day. And I saw everything, dude. I saw the march over the bridge with MLK. I saw the lunch counter. I saw the little girl trying to go to school with George Wallace blocking her. I saw all that. I saw the dogs biting people. I saw all that. I remember the race riots in '68. Funny story. Well, it's not funny, but it is funny. There was a pizza shop down the corner from me. I grew up in the most racist part of Kensington. I grew up in Kensington. And in the 60s, it was the most racist place in the world. When the race riots broke out, I was in a little pizza shop. It was called Edna's Steak Shop. They had the 3-foot steak sandwich. And me and my buddies, we would hustle. We would get bottles and return them. We'd scrape up money so at least 1 or 2 days a week we can get a 3-foot steak and split it between the three of us. Well, the guy cooking the steak, we called him Popeye because he had forearms like Popeye from doing the steaks on the grill. And so MLK gets shot, and there was, now Kensington at that time was all factories, surrounded by factories. And there's a place called Richardson Mints that was right across the street from the steak shop. Well, there's this African-American dude waiting on the bus. And these white dudes got out of the car and started beating him up. And Popeye runs out with a meat cleaver and drags this guy in. I mean, he's pummeled. And he tells the one dude, he knew the one dude beating him up. He said, "Stevie, you're banned from here for life." And you could almost see the tears in the guy's eyes that he was being banned from the steak shop. But Popeye turned to us and said, everybody is equal. He was military. I guess he was in the military with African Americans, and they may have saved his life. I don't know how this older man had this point of view at that time in Kensington in '68, but he did, and he taught me a lesson. And I always felt when Black Lives Matter started, and I thought, okay, now it's time. Now, I've been waiting. I've been waiting since the 60s for black people to at least be acknowledged, to be freaking acknowledged. I mean, how hard is that, white America? How hard is that? And then you see all the stuff on Facebook, all the hate. White lives matter too. My buddy said to me one day, you know what Black Lives Matter should have done? They should have said Black Lives Matter too. If they would have just put the word too. I said, dude, that wouldn't have done nothing. Because you would have had crackers just saying, white lives matter too. It'd be the same thing.
Yeah,
It'd
it
be the
does.
same thing. And
Yeah,
it's
semantics
amazing.
doesn't change anything. Yeah.
No, it's amazing. It is amazing to me that white people don't understand white privileges. They
Well,
don't understand it. And I try to explain it to them. I go, all right, here's a perfect example. How many times have you been stopped on the street or in your car and said, the reason you're being stopped is because you fit the description that we're looking for? I go, it's never happened to me. How many times has it happened to you? I'll wait. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting.
hmm
It's never happened to you. It happens to African American people every day. And I'm not trying to put myself in the shoes of the African American, but I experience prejudice big time. My first wife was African American,
hmm
and I got it from both ends. I got it from black males, and I got it from my white friends. I found
hmm
out who my real friends were. You know, when that invitation for the wedding doesn't come in, because I was one of the first ones out of our gang. Now, I still hang with these guys. We've been friends for 47 years.
hmm
I still hang with most of these guys, but the invitations to their wedding didn't come my way because I had a black wife. I didn't have a big wedding. I got married at Yerkes at 69th Street,
hmm
just as a piece. And the reason I got married it was because she was the first person that I felt loved me. When
hmm
you go back and forth from your parents as a child, you get the feeling that you're not loved. So when the first person shows you love, even though you don't know what love is, you jump on it.
hmm
And I remember standing in Yerkes and I looked up at the sign that says, if you're not nervous, you don't know what you're getting into. And I wasn't nervous.
hmm
And I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know the commitment. I didn't know anything. Until my son was born, then I learned the commitment. Then the arguing, and I saw my way of my life going to be turned into his life. And I said, that's it. I told her, look, this is not going to work. I do not want my son part of this. I don't want to have him listen to us argue or anything like that. I said, it'd just be better. I says, I'm sorry. I made a mistake, and that was it. And then I was able to have a better relationship with her not being married to her than being married to her, if
hmm
that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
And so I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for this. And like I said, I would get pulled over all the time when my wife and my sister-in-laws were in the car.
hmm
We'd go into a store. We'd be followed.
hmm
My son, I'm sure that happens to him all the time. My son told me, I had a long discussion with him, and he identifies as African American. Well, first off, I'm a dark Italian, and his mother was extremely dark African
hmm
American.
hmm
So he identifies as an African American. And I got him a job when he was 13 years old. This is back in the day when Hilfiger, Nautica, Polo, that's what all the kids were wearing. That's what they were all wearing. I think 50 Cent started it with Hilfiger. I don't know. But that's what all the kids were wearing. He wanted to wear these clothes. I was like, dude, I wear stuff from Target and Kmart. I'm not spending $60 on a shirt for you. So my buddy had a restaurant. I got him in as the dishwasher.
hmm
And he worked there from 8th grade until he graduated college.
mm
And he went from dishwasher to running the store where the guy didn't even show up. My kid would open up, run the store, the whole thing. My son said to me, Dad, he goes, that was the greatest introduction to prejudice that I've ever experienced in my life. He goes, it made me realize what prejudiced people are and how to detect them and how to do everything with them. He said, you taught me two great lessons in life. You taught me how to deal with prejudiced people. And the one thing I always told my son when he was a child is always question authority. always question authority. Don't don't ever stop questioning authority. Once you stop questioning authority, you're done. You're done.
Mm.
You are a victim now. Always question it. And we had this discussion a couple weeks ago, and I was really, really happy that I was at least able to give him two really good life lessons.
Yeah, that was actually pretty interesting. He stayed there that long because that's it's good because you it's kind of a load lifted off of you because you got the job. You don't have to go from this little stupid office job to that job over there. To that. That's a pain in the neck and a load, a huge
Like,
load lifted.
yeah, he was making his money for his clothes. That's all he cared about at the time
Mm.
when he was young. And then, I had a rule with him. I said, whatever you make the week, you got to put half in the bank, and the other half, I don't care what you do with, just don't buy drugs. And my kid
Mm-hmm.
never did drugs until he
Mm-hmm.
went to college and experimented like every kid does. So
Yeah,
uh,
literally.
yeah, so he learned how to manage money, and he bought his own crap. I had to spend $60. I'd get him one shirt for Christmas. I'd get him a polo shirt for Christmas. But dude, I'm not buying you three shirts for you to wear to school. He went to Central, so it wasn't like a uniform. It was like what they wore. And back then, they were all wearing Hilfiger polo and Nautica. My kid today wears nothing but polo. Nothing. His daughter, my granddaughter, wears nothing but polo to this
Yeah.
day.
Yes. Well, when you find a brand, it's like anything else. I mean, once that's straight branding, man. When you start early, you get to hold on to that customer forever.
Yeah, yeah. So during again, going back to the pandemic on what we were going to do with our downtime, like I told you, I tried the sign language thing, but it was really too difficult for me to pick up, especially on YouTube. So I got into Greek philosophy, and I started reading about Greek philosophy, and some of the guys. That's what I usually post on Facebook. I do not post pictures of food, and we both know people that do, and that's fine. Hey, look, if you want to do that, that's fine. That's good. I mean, especially there's one guy that we know, and I'm really good friends with him, and he always posts about making your own food, which is better yet. I like that, and he gives you
Mm-hmm.
what it costs you to make that dish, and I think that's a great idea. But I don't want to see pictures of you at the restaurant, you know, with a 30-ounce T-bone, and hey, look what I'm having tonight. Who cares? Who cares? When did I start caring what you're eating? I'm sorry, people on Facebook that know me and are going to hear this and everything, but it's weak. It's weak. And then once you start reading like these philosophers, it's just too. I learn something new every day. My goal every day is to learn something new at least once.
That's
At
pretty
least
interesting
once.
because you started reading Greek philosophy, and years ago I started reading the Eastern philosophy.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here right now in the office, and there's stacks of them right in front of me. Um, you know, it's an interesting thing because you get an opportunity to pick the brain of great minds who figured out things a long time ago that are
Dude,
still
and
applicable and still accurate.
they're still relevant today. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. It's amazing. Like you always see on Facebook. Here's Marcus Aurelius
Mm-hmm.
wrote that the most despicable form of cowardness is self pity. And I'll see somebody on Facebook. Oh, walked on a Lego today. Oh, the foot hurts. Stop. Shut up. People aren't eating. People are starving. You stepped on a friggin' Lego. Shut up. Just shut up. It gets me
Legos,
so
man.
mad with some of these. I just got on Facebook in like 15. I had to get on because of school, because they had a Facebook page that you had to, rehearsals and all this kind of stuff. So I joined then. Now I'm in it 6 years, My day usually starts. This is my day. I get up in the morning with my wife, send her off to work. I get online. I do my social media stuff. I go into my office. I read the newspaper, do my business, come back out. I'll read for about an hour or so. Then I listen to music and work out for an hour. Then I soak and shower. Then I watch a movie. And if I'm lucky, I can get a nap in. If I'm lucky. But that's pretty much my day. I study actors now. And it's good. Steve, S. Anthony, I'm telling you, the greatest thing about being an actor is you have a right to steal.
Yeah.
You have a right. You have a right to act like McQueen, to act like Lee Marvin, to act like Sidney Poitier, to act like the greats. You watch what they do and how they do it. I just saw a movie, Judgment at Nuremberg. Did you ever see the movie?
Mm-mm.
Okay, you got to watch it. It's a must watch. You get it on YouTube for free. It's about the trials of the Nazis after the war. And Burt Lancaster plays a Nazi guy who's up for the mass murder of all the Jewish people in Poland and everywhere else. And his stillness.
Oh, what was the name of the movie? What was the name again?
Judgment at Nuremberg.
Yes, I did. I did see that. Yes.
Max Michel won the Oscar for that. It has so many really good. Shatner's in it. I think Judy Garland was in it.
Everybody but you and me were in the movie.
Yes, yeah. Probably, that's Anthony. Probably the greatest ensemble of actors ever put on film in one movie. To be honest with you. And that's what I do. I kill my time by watching movies and studying actors. My wife doesn't want to watch a movie with me now because it takes me 3.5 hours to watch an hour and a half movie.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Because I got that rewind button. I go, wait a minute. I got to see his choice on why he did it this way. I just got to understand a little better. And I'll rewind it and I'll watch the scene again and I'll watch his choice and yeah, man, that was really good. Or you know what? I may have done it this way. And so I'm a real pain in the ass to watch a movie with. I really am.
Girlfriends can't watch comedy specials with me.
Now?
No, because they'll be laughing their heads off, and I'm studying technique.
Well,
you know?
we come from the school. You haven't forgotten. We come from the school of where when we would be in a comedy club, and a comic would be up on stage killing. We wouldn't laugh, but we would look at each other, and what would we say?
I'll be honest with you, I was down to a nod.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's funny.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
That's funny. We wouldn't laugh.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's all we would do is that's funny.
I remember it was.
I still do that today. I still do that today.
I'm exactly the same way. I'll sit there and watch something and think it's hilarious. The way I explain it to girlfriends when is I have the comedian brain and then there's the S. Anthony brain. The comedian brain is analyzing and studying. And then I had girlfriends go, because usually what happens is I'll watch it one time and I'll study it, and then I'll watch it again as a regular person, and then I'll laugh. And she goes, how the hell did you sit there, watch Netflix for an hour, not laugh at anything, come back 2 days later, watch the same special, and laugh at everything? And I had to explain to her, I said, you don't understand. My brain automatically analyzes everything I see, whether it be stand-up, acting, people having a conversation on the street. I'm watching and paying attention to how the way the body language is, the inflection of the voice, the way they turn their body. I'm watching to see whether or not they're mirroring each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's nothing I can do about it. I'm like, listen, you like the lights, right? You like the lights on? You like having gas, you like car payments, and so, that's why I try to explain to her. I said, listen, this is how this is how things get paid. And once you train yourself to do that, you as the person, as the performer, it just happens, and you're not used to having someone there looking at you like, why are you staring at the way that lady talks to her dog? I may need that later.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Well, plus they taught you that in acting school. At
Mm-hmm.
least I was taught that is
Yeah.
to to that's the way you learn how to play people, is watching people. And I used to go to this Dunkin' Donuts before class would start, and I would meet like another actor, and we would go over the scene if we were doing a scene that day or whatever. And I would just study the people in the Dunkin' Donuts. And unfortunately, there was a lot of junkies.
Mm-hmm.
It was the opioid crisis, and we used to do uh, alones where you would just come through the door and you would be alone in your
Mm-hmm.
house, and you had to like come from somewhere uh, and reflect upon you coming from that place. Like say you know, the one alone I did was I came in with like this cup in my hand and I threw all these chips up in the air. And it was like I had just come from the floor of the casino and I hit it big time. You know, you have to like sort of describe something. So
Mm-hmm.
I did an alone one time where I played a junkie. I came in the door, I ran right into the bathroom. I came out of the bathroom, and in 5 minutes I was doing the nod, the junkie nod
Mm-hmm.
that you see. You know, you see the head bob, and then it's going down, and then all of a sudden it pops back up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, the funny thing about, and I've heard Michael Caine, the actor, say this about playing people like that. Like when you're playing a drunk, don't don't try to act drunk, because most drunks try not to act drunk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's you got to study people. You got
Mm-hmm.
to study people. So I want
I
to
ha-
get back to this 93 thing. I know it's your show and you're supposed to ask the questions, but I haven't spoken to you in so long. You left before the Booker Wars.
yeah, I didn't even know they were coming. Because as I stated earlier, I told them individually, look, I'm playing wherever I want. You know, I just says it. I'm not buying into this stupid crap. Look, I'm playing where I want. Just put a different name in the newspaper, but I'm playing where I want. Just don't
Yeah.
tell anybody. I'm saying, okay, but I'm telling you right now, I'm playing wherever I want. I'm not trying to hear any of this. And
I
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. See, I should have went that. I would have been smart to go the route you went, but I
mm,
burned bridges. I burned bridges. I
it
burn.
was
I
difficult.
Yeah.
They were tough back then. They were serious about it, but I was just like, look, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Well, you had the one guy who had about 5 or 6 clubs, and no names to protect the guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sleeping on my couch on a Sunday night, and the phone rings. Pick up the phone. Hey, buddy. Um, I,
Ah,
I didn't,
okay.
you know, I, I didn't know who. I go, who's this? It's so and so. I go, hey, what's up? How was the show last night? I go, it was okay. How many people? And I'm getting like 64 questions. How many people were there? And then I get, you know, if you play my club, you can't play a club 50 miles from my club. And I just said, hey, so and so, I never got the memo on that. And I slammed the phone down. And I thought to myself, what an a-hole. First off, I'm not even a headliner. Coming out of an MC, trying to get to a feature. If you want to do that rule, if you're a major headliner and I'm going to sell 1,000 tickets, okay, fine, okay, but I'm not. I'm an MC and I'm a feature trying to get stage time.
Mm.
This gentleman, in my opinion, held back so many careers because of that stupid rule. He held back so many careers because of that stupid rule.
I
And
got
I've never forgiven him for that.
I've gotten those phone calls as well.
Yeah.
And so how'd it go at the thing? And I went good. How many people there? Enough.
Yeah. But
You
you
can't play the other place. I said, look. I'm going to play wherever I want. You're either going to book me or you're not. But I'm one of the best
right,
comics, so you're not going to not book me because if you don't book
right.
me, the other people will. So let's cut the crap. Just
Yeah,
okay. I said so. If you're not going to book me, there's no reason for you to call me anymore. Wait a minute. I said if you want to, just put another name in the newspaper every once in a while, like every third time, put another name in the newspaper. But I'm not doing that. Okay. All right, let me go. Click. And or I got this phone call. Hey man, I hear you're playing the so and so. And I'm going, yes, it's in the newspaper. I'll give you twice as much money to dump that show and do my show. I said, there's only one problem with that. What's that? I gave my word. And when I give my
yeah,
word to someone, I don't
yeah.
break it. I don't care if you offer me $5 million.
Mhm, mhm.
Oh, okay. I said that should encourage you, which means when you book me next time, you don't think people call me and try to give me double the money to dump your shows at the last second? Did I
Yeah,
ever do it?
yeah,
That makes sense. Exactly. Never call me and ask me to do that again.
yeah, yeah. My word's important to me also. It's the
Yeah.
only thing. It's the only thing you really have, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, especially in this business because you get booked 6 months out. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
if you screw them over, you especially when you move to the head because at that point I was closing shows. I'm taking 45 minutes to 60 minutes of the show away with me. So if I don't show
Mhm.
up, that show's over. you
Yeah,
know, if the
yeah,
headliner does not show up, the show is done. And you got 240, 250, or 300 people that paid $20 to get in that are upset. And
yeah,
they'll never forgive them. And that's 300 people that will not come back. And I would not do that to somebody just to
yeah.
double my
That
money.
could
No, screw that.
that like I said to you earlier about the comedy audience is a certain percentage, and you got to maintain that percentage and make it grow. The last thing you want to do is to take numbers away from that percentage, and stuff
Mm-mm.
like that would do that. And I made the mistake of when I hung up that night and said, "Okay, this is war." I didn't realize how much I hated the road. I
Yeah.
hated the road.
You got to pick your
Hated it.
spots with that.
Yeah, I hated going on the road. And plus the fact that I had a great daytime job with the Teamsters,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew in the long run the pension was going to come into play. I was going to keep that. And the fact I would go on the road, like I would leave late Friday after work and drive down to, how do you say it, Towson, Townsend, however you want to say it,
Mm-hmm.
and do that room down there. Do you remember that? I think it
Yeah.
was Tracy's at the Bowman.
Mm-hmm.
Would do that room. You
Oh,
would
that
do
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
that was a good
Oh,
run.
oh, that was a good place, man. Oh, yeah, that was good stuff. Yeah, I
That
remember that
that was
place.
then when I went on unemployment, that run got even better because you did at one point in the mid '90s, early '90s, you had Tracy's on Friday and Saturday, three shows.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was something else in Maryland on Sunday
Mm-hmm.
that this kid had. You did that show, and then Monday you went and did the Carousel in
Mm-hmm.
Ocean City, Maryland,
Yeah, man.
and Tuesday you went and did Irish Eyes in
And
Rehoboth.
Rehoboth Beach.
Yeah, so you had a room every night.
Mm-hmm.
You had a hotel room every night, meals on the house,
Mm-hmm.
alcohol on the house.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder how so many comics became alcoholics, but
Oh,
that was a good
oof.
road trip.
I've seen some things in Rehoboth Beach, my friend.
Oh my God, I have to.
I'll put it to you this way: there's been plenty of times when I was down there where I had to do 90 minutes. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay,
Glug glug
yeah,
glug. Ah.
yeah, yeah,
He's in the room. Can you do 90 minutes? Yeah. All right.
yeah, yeah. He hasn't left the room yet.
He's like,
Yeah, I've had a few of those.
uh,
I've had.
it was pretty bad. Like, am I gonna have to go back and do? Actually, one time I had to actually did the show, ran out of the room really quickly because I'm going. I got to see if this dude's alive. you know, and I go back in there. Where's the show? Over.
Yeah. Dude, I worked with this guy one night up at the club that I used to run. I
Mm-hmm.
worked with this guy one night, and he passed away,
Mm-hmm.
and he was uh, he was hooked on heroin,
Mm-hmm.
and so he took a liking to me, liked my material and stuff. He took me up to Grant Pop's in Yonkers.
Mm-hmm.
Grant Pop Al Lewis had a club.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah, I
took
remember that. Yeah.
he took me up there to meet who was the biggest guy back in the day, booking. It was
Oh
Camacho.
God.
Tony
Antonio Camacho. Yeah.
Yeah. So he takes me up to meet Camacho. Now I only have like 15 minutes tops.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, why am I getting an audition for this guy already? So we do the show, and Camacho was completely honest with me. He goes, "Look, you got some good material, but you need more time." And I agreed with him. I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'll come visit you. I'll get back to you." Well, the reason I got on that show was because the guy who took me up there wanted me to drive home so he could shoot up in the tunnel. Okay, he's shooting up in the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and first time you ever see that in your life, it's a real eye opener. You
Yeah,
know?
I've never seen the hair. I mean, I've seen people shoot up heroin that weren't with me. Like you walk into the bathroom, you're like, oh Jesus Christ, you know those little South Jersey bar gigs, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And they pay you in cash on a Tuesday. You walk in, you do half an hour, to give you $150 or whatever. Go into the bathroom, this guy, and you're like, oh Jesus Christ, because I'd seen it in movies, you
hmm
know, but this is the first time I see a guy leaning against the sink, and you're going, okay, I'm out of here. I don't know where this is going. But the worst one of the ones that was the scariest ones for me, was I was doing the gig with somebody I didn't know, and they hooked me up with some opener or something. And he's driving the car, and I'm going, okay, this guy seems nice enough. Between shows, we're driving back. No, we're driving back after the Friday shows to the hotel. He pulls over, and I'm thinking he's going to pull out a map. I'm like, what? This guy needs a map to find a hotel? All right, whatever. He pulls out this. I don't know. I'm not even paying attention to him, and then I don't know what he's doing. And then I say, I hear. He's putting lines of cocaine on the dashboard,
Oh
and I'm
my,
like, Jesus Christ. I'm like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. No offense, buddy, but I'm not riding with you again, because the last thing I need to do is have this car be pulled over with that
yeah,
in there.
yeah,
So, catching the
yeah.
cab.
All of a sudden, yeah, all of a sudden that when you get pulled over, that thing's going under the seat, and now you're responsible.
Exactly. He's the headliner. Oh God,
Yeah.
I can't afford that. Okay, no, you don't.
So
I've
so
never.
getting back, but wait a minute. Let me get back to this guy with the heroin.
Mm,
So we have him up at the club that I'm running, right?
mm,
And he's the headliner, and the feature is a guy who would do something about cereals. You
mm.
might know him. He would do this whole bit on cereals. He would have all these boxes of cereal. And
Oh, yep, yep,
you know who I'm talking about.
yeah.
So I go up to, we had an apartment above the club that we all
Mm,
used to hang out at after the shows. The headliner, whoever was around, friends of our gang. We would go up to the apartment, we'd party, have some, we had unlimited beer with the bar and whatever.
mm,
We had everything. So I go up to the apartment to get this guy, and he's nodding. And I come down, and I go, the club owner's name is Johnny. I go, Johnny. I go, so-and-so's on Captain Crunch, and what's nodding upstairs. I don't know what we're going to do, dude. I only got like 3 more minutes. So he goes upstairs, right? He gets him down, right? I introduce him. Dude, he goes up and kills for an hour.
mm.
Kills for an hour. People are getting up and walking out, and he's like, "Hey man, what's the matter? You don't like my material?" I go, "No, dude, you're funny as hell, but we got to get home for the babysitter." It's
Mm-hmm.
like it was like, wow. It was like, are you kidding me? Now, did he need that to get to that point? I don't know, but it was it was sad. It was really sad, and he eventually wound up dying,
Mm-hmm.
which was no
Mm-hmm.
surprise. I
No.
mean, you dance with the devil, you're
Yeah,
going to get
it's
burnt.
it's just an amazing thing. I had seen so many people that I loved and that I knew during the course of my first 16, 17 years of life that I made a decision early. I am never touching drugs. Still haven't. I'm never getting drunk. Still haven't because I saw what it did to people.
No,
I saw. I mean, I remember doing a gig where the guy was coked up in his. I wasn't even on the show. I was just hanging out with somebody, and the people I was hanging out with were a bunch of features and MCs, and I was the only one that had been regularly closing. So I'm just hanging out with the guys. Hey guys, we're hanging out at the bar, and you hear the owner runs out of the office. He goes, "This mother effing, what the f? He told me he wasn't going to do this to me." The guy was blasted out of his mind in the room. He said, "What the hell am I going to do? A big chunk of my show's missing. This a-hole. What am I going to do for that? I can't put two features up." And I'm eating some chicken wings. And they go, what about Mr. Thomas? What about him? He headlines. Where is he? Where is he? And I'm like, why is everybody running towards me? I hear you headline comedy clubs. Yeah. Get your ass up there. I'm like, first of all, who are you?
yeah, right.
I own this place and I'll pay you. And I said, well, what are you paying the guy that did it? Because this guy had way more TV credits than me. And
Right.
I said, what are you paying him? And he says, well, I said it is important because the last time I checked, he's wrapping up and you're going to have to give him the high sign that somebody's going on. What are you paying him? And he goes, I'm paying him this. I said, well, I'm not going to be an ass and expect that because I don't have a special, but I do want half of what you paid this guy, which was more than I was
Right.
making normally. And I didn't want to
That's
kill the guy. He goes, okay, go ahead. I said, you guys, he said, I'll give it to you in cash. I said, first of all, why are you yelling that?
yeah,
You know?
yeah,
I'm like, no, I'll
yeah.
take a check. And I go on stage, do my thing. A guy stumbles up into the place as everybody's leaving. I'm ready. And we're looking at him like, you're not even. You look like you ready for the damn hospital,
Yeah,
And he was
yeah.
fine for the rest of the weekend, because the
Uh huh.
club owner goes, look, you effed me on one show. You got three more shows left. If you're not here to do the rest of these shows, I'm suing your ass. I'm suing your agency. I'm suing. He goes, and from what I understand, I didn't come back. I was too busy spending that guy's money. Uh, but
Yeah.
as it turns out, he did the rest. He crushed the place the last three shows. But yeah, it's amazing what you see out there because I saw so much drugs, so much alcohol, so much debauchery, so much screwing in bathrooms and all that kind of stuff. And I was always like, look, man, I have the vaudeville way of thinking. The show must go on. Do the show. Do the show as with your to your best of your abilities. Never let anything detract from the show. You just don't do it. And I've maintained that. I've maintained that.
Well, it's smart. It's what the people are paying for. You don't. People don't go into a supermarket to buy a gallon of milk and come out with a half a gallon, but they pay for the gallon.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give the people their money's worth. You got to make them want to say after a show, "Oh, dude, who's here next week? Who's here next
Mm-hmm.
week?" Yeah, we loved hearing that. We loved when I was running that comedy club and they'd be walking out and, "Oh, you guys were great. But who's here next week? Oh, we got so and so." We would announce it.
Mm-hmm.
Next week we got. That was my job. Next week we got da 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 da, and we'd announce that stuff. But that's what we wanted to hear. We wanted to hear that you were coming back, and that was the most important thing.
Yeah, you kind of have to build and this is what I was saying to somebody before. It's like the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. It was great if he had great guests, but you came for Johnny, right?
Absolutely.
So when it
Yep.
comes to a comedy club, there's going to be great comedy clubs there, but you come for the club, meaning you expect a certain level of skill and quality from anyone that shows up there. So it shouldn't really matter if you know who the person is. You should trust the club enough that no matter who they have there, you're going to go, well, if they're there, they're good. So you have to build a cult of personality around the club. And the best way to do that is to have good quality acts who take care of business every single time, and then they won't care what the name is. They'll just go, "Yeah, I just want to. I want to be here next week, and who's here? Doesn't matter."
Yeah,
You
as
you
long
know,
as your drinks weren't expensive and your comics were good, you were good to go. I
you're damn
mean,
right.
and that's how we ran that club up there in the Northeast. Our drinks weren't expensive, and he put on really good shows. Yeah, I
Yes, he
mean,
did.
like I said, he had some really good headliners roll through there until uh, Douchey Douche got the room cut in half with the fire
Hmm.
marshal. But
I remember
then,
hearing about that.
yeah, that that happens. And while that
Yeah,
did happen,
yeah.
he'd be the only person to do that. And you know, but from what I understand, he's karma has come a knocking. So
Mm.
it always gets you. It
It was
always
just an
gets you.
amazing thing that that kind of stuff happened. I just never understood it because it's like if I'm competing with you, well, the thing about it was back then there was way more than necessary. Because if you remember, you'd open, you'd have a bowling alley, you put comedy, put a sign that said comedy in the window, and you'd have 240 people in there.
Yeah, the one up in Reading. You
Yeah,
folks did that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I was thinking about.
yeah, the one up in Reading. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you had those A rooms,
Hmm.
and then you had the you were talking you had talked earlier about the A
Hmm.
rooms, the comedy, but then you had guys putting comedy anywhere,
Yeah.
anywhere. I mean, we had bookers here in Philly that they would book a show in a phone booth if the caller had enough change in his pocket.
Hmm.
I
And,
mean, that, and I was doing a lot of those gigs,
yeah,
and I'll
well.
tell you what, they build you. They build you because
Mm.
when you go into an A room, you're looking around going, "Oh man, it's going to be cake." I played in front of 9 people
Hmm.
with 7 teeth
Hmm.
in in Port Richmond, and you know, so those and that's what took over when I was talking to you about the comedy wars. You left before those wars.
Hmm.
You had two guys there that were just booking like firehouses and American Legions, and they're great because you come to some of them towns. Some of them were a little, like Thorpe and the Hazleton area
Ooh,
up
ooh,
in
ooh,
there,
ooh,
and
ooh, ooh,
and so
ooh.
you come to those towns, and you're the biggest thing since the circus showed up.
I actually did not leave before the Comedy Wars. I left in the middle because I remember
Uh,
the two people you're talking about.
yes, yes.
And
Well, I chose the local one.
yeah, well, actually, I worked for him as well.
Yeah,
And that was some hot ass. Uh,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that stuff.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I had a jar of it at the house, and I had a relative staying over, and they just thought it was regular, so they just took it and put it on their sandwich, and
Mm.
all I heard was,
You know what? I got to be honest with you though.
hmm.
That guy there
Hmm.
put some of the best shows together compared to the guy with the 5 clubs in the A rooms. At one point, the guy with the 5 clubs in the A rooms had one headliner that he constantly played every freaking week, and two opening acts, and he was charging $15. Now
Yeah.
this guy, the guy you're talking about with the
Hmm.
hots, he was on people that are stars now, that are big time now, with that were first starting out. I mean, he had all them guys.
It was one
That
thing I.
all the guys that have radio shows now.
Hmm.
I mean, he was putting on really quality shows, better than the guy with the A rooms.
I
And
worked. I did a whole lot of shows for the person you're referring to. I used to actually he used to be, actually pick me up occasionally in his truck
yeah, yeah,
to take me to gigs. I was like, you don't have to do that. Oh, I really want to do it for you. You're a great guy.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so,
Yeah, you know what's funny? You know what's
hmm.
funny though
Hmm.
is I Well, the comics are going to know this. You know what? I'm starting to go more towards acting than stand up now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still like stand up because one, I enjoy it, and two, it's easy money. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's easy money. Let's be honest here.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to say to me, I'll give you this amount of money to do stand up, and you'll be done in a half hour, or I'll give you the same amount of money and you'll be on set for 12 hours, I think I might take the set for 12 hours
Mm-hmm.
because I enjoy making films. People don't understand what goes behind making a movie. I made one myself. I co-wrote it, co-produced it, uh, actually had a role in it. We had to do films for our school. We used to have a film festival,
Mm-hmm.
and you had to like make a movie. And to go through that experience, when you see these movies today, and I'm not talking about the ones with the what is it, CGIF or whatever the hell that stuff is.
Yeah.
I'm talking a real damn movie, man. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking a movie. I'm talking a movie with like the greatest actor right now today in our time. I think is Gary Oldman. You
Mm-hmm.
give me a good Gary Oldman movie. Nobody's wearing a cape. Nobody's there's no green screen. There's no dinosaur. There's none of that
So
bull
you,
crap. It's sheer acting.
so you'd rather instead of Godzilla, you'd rather see now you can't leave.
Exactly. 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 That's what I want to see. I
Mm-hmm.
want to see movies like that.
Mm-hmm.
And because first off, I want to study guys like that. I mean, I could watch Gary Oldman films all day long and
Yeah.
just be amazed by his different performances.
Yeah. It's just well the thing is when you find yourself pounding away at something for 12 hours and you want more of it, you're supposed to be doing that. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? You're supposed to be
exactly.
doing that.
Yeah, it's my calling. It's my
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely my calling, and you know, and I was doing really well
Mm-hmm.
before the pandemic hit. I was working for Vanity Fair. I
Mm-hmm.
got two videos on YouTube that Vanity Fair made about how to make movies. One's got like 1.2 million views. The other one's got like 160,000 views.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be picked, first off, for, and I could say this slur word, for this Dago to be picked from Philadelphia out of all the ones in New York, for Vanity Fair to pick me to play a mob guy, I was thrilled about. And the thing in movies I was taught in school is there's three things. There's three B's. Be on time, be prepared, and be nice. Be
Yeah.
nice. Especially like I always friend up with the crew
Oh yeah.
because you're going to see them. You're going to see them all the time, more so than the director that you're working for that day.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see the guy that's miking you up. You're going to see the guy that's lighting you up. You're going to see the guy that's put the camera on you. You're going to see them on other projects more so than you will the director of that certain project. So if you
That's where
friend
you get
them
a
up,
yeah, you get a harmonious set. A harmonious set is the kind of set you want to be on.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And I break the rules. They'll go, okay, time for craft service, time to eat lunch. I'll let the crew go first. I'll go,
Mm-hmm.
dudes, go ahead, get in front of me because you guys got. I don't have to shoot a scene for another hour or so. You guys got to get right back to it. Go ahead, go eat. Grab something to eat. Like
Mm-hmm.
some of the actors will get pissed at me. Why'd you let them in front of you? Because they're working, dude. Shut up. Shut up.
That's the thing. It's kind of weird. Why'd you let them in front of you? Yeah. Last time I checked, they're technically in front of you before you shoot a scene.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, you thought there was divas in comedy? There are just as many in film
Oh,
and stage than there are in comedy. It's unbelievable.
that's
It's
one of those things where I
unbelievable what
always it's like I've met a bunch of famous people. I've been very very fortunate that only a couple have been d bags. You know,
hmm
and like I remember like I did a celebrity roast and I was it was like a bunch of celebrities there and I was supposed to tear them apart whatever but I don't I do a gentle comedy so I did work them over but I worked them over in a way where they could laugh. So this mayoral candidate in the city I was working in walked in and he saw me and he's like, yes, whatever, yes, like who is this? And they're going, yeah, he's actually doing the show, and the guy's like, oh. And then he runs back over. Hey, buddy. Hey. And I'm like, man, get out my face, man. Get away from me. It's just really weird when you see people, and I just like when I meet somebody that's a celebrity and they're cool. I met so many cool people, but like I think maybe 3D bags in my entire life, and I think actually I'm pretty sure you probably have triple that. Uh, your D bag count is probably a lot higher than mine because you're actually acting regularly. Still there? Oh, we didn't lose him, did I? Hold on. Uh-oh. Yeah. Oh, the phone. Phone went bad. Hold on. Let me do this. We had a little technical difficulty, everybody.
I lose you?
Yes, you did.
Your battery runs out?
I can't. You lost me in the middle of this incredible story. I'm upset with you.
I didn't do anything on my end. I'm on a landline.
There's something weird. It's probably my phone because I'm like telling this incredible story, and then I look up and I'm going, Nick's not there. Wait a minute. Maybe you're the problem. Maybe it's you. I was telling the story about meeting a bunch of celebrities. We're talking about celebrities that are me when you meet them.
Right.
And I was telling a hilarious story about how I met some celebrities and all of that kind of crap. And then all of a sudden I realized you, an actor, just disappear off the phone. You're probably afraid of the truth of behind the scenes stuff I was going to tell, and you got the hell out of there. I knew it.
I love how you put it on me. And I'll take it. It's your interview, I'll take it. It was me, S. Anthony.
Yeah.
I sabotaged your phone.
I can't believe you came all the way here, messed up my phone, and had enough time to get back home. That's
Yeah.
disgusting, Nick. Never
Yes.
do that again, damn it.
Thank you, Uber.
Man, I just want to say, man, thank you for coming on, brother.
I appreciate you having me. I listen to all your shows. I think you're a wonderful interviewer. It's not an easy job.
Mm.
It's definitely not an easy job. I had a really good time catching up with you. Um, I hope I didn't come off as a know-it-all or anything like that. I don't like people that think they're know-it-alls. I'm trying to learn something new every day in my life, and I think everybody should take that approach to life: is try to learn something new. And I think we're in a time right now where people just have to listen to people.
Mm-hmm.
Just listen to people, man. That's all you got to do. That's what people want. That's all people want, is to have somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
And listen. And if we listen to each other, maybe we could work things out. The last thing I'm going to do, man, is leave this. Look, I'm on the back stretch. I've round the curve, and I'm coming down the stretch of my life.
Mm-hmm.
What do I got? Type 1 diabetic. I'm in great shape. I work out 6 days a week, but what do I got? 15? Am I going to see 77? Maybe. There's a chance. But I got to see a change in this world before I go out.
Yeah.
I don't want, right now, if I was to die, I'm ready to die now. I mean, not that I want to, but I'm ready to go. It's not how long, but how well you have lived is the main thing.
Indeed.
Life, if well lived, is long enough.
Yeah.
So, I've accomplished, dude, coming from a divorced parents, living in Kensington in a roach, gnats-infested house, and being poor, not knowing when the next meal's coming from, becoming a thief to get the next meal, walking into the Acme and walking out with food under my coat to feed me and my sister. And, from there to where I am today, I could not be more thankful for that
Yeah.
and appreciative. And when I'm laying on my deathbed, I will have no regrets. I'll have one. My one regret is that I never got to see Sly and the Family Stone perform live. That'll be my only regret in life.
Yeah.
Will be that. Otherwise, it's good. It's been a journey. It's been a hard lesson to learn, but the teachers that taught me well.
Hmm. Man, when you say, first of all, I want to thank you for the compliment about this show and everything like that. But I'll be honest with you, with guests like you make this job really, really easy, and I want to thank you for that.
Well, I hope it wasn't because I wouldn't shut up, but
That's it's kind of what I wanted. Is you to not
oh
shut up. That's the whole idea of podcasts.
yeah, dude, I'm looking at the clock and it's like over 2 hours, and I'm going. I could do another three with this cat.
Oh, you're coming back on, right?
Uh,
You think
anytime.
you're only going to be on once?
Hey, listen. Anytime you want me, or I hit something big, and would be so kind to let me promote it or whatever, I will. Even if I don't, if I never act or tell another joke again,
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Now that I get my first Social Security check next month, between
Oh,
that and my pension check, I never have to get off the couch again as long as I live if I don't want to. So now I'm going to go look at scripts and say, nah, I don't want to do that. Before,
mm-hmm.
where I would go, yeah, I could use the money, or somebody will call me, yeah, I got a gig and it's in so nah, no, thank you, no thanks.
Yeah, I might do
Uh,
that. Yeah, that's one of the best things to be able to say is nah,
yeah, yeah. Saying
especially if it
no
sucks.
is a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I appreciate you having me on. I look forward to hearing your other guests coming up. I've
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed all the ones that I've listened to, and look forward to seeing who you got.
All right, my brother, Nikki, thank you,
Thank
and I
you,
will
S.
hit you up. And
Anthony. And
like I said, I do plan on having you back again, so be ready.
I will be ready to talk with you anytime, and we could talk about anything.
All right, my brother, I'll take care.
Thank you.
See you.